I realized that the previous person who had bought it was also only using about 1 or 2% of its actual potential. So basically, by retooling up Bigfoot, I got a free education. Like somebody paid me to learn active demand, which is not the norm. Well, I guess it is actually the norm for companies, pay their employees to learn. So I went through that process, and all of a sudden I realized that I had my hands on the ability to, it's gonna be hard to explain this in just a couple of words. I actually had the ability to prove in empirical terms things that everybody thought was either puffery or at best highly subjective statements. And what active demand does is it just removes it all. It either worked or it didn't work. And you know why. So if you have 10 facets of your marketing program and you measure none of them, well, you could be losing money on 9 of them while making all kinds of money on 1 of them and not know it. Now we knew in empirical terms, we could look at what we did and go, what was the result? What was the result? And we just started, so that's where it started. So we're working with the product and I'm discovering, okay, there's a powerful tool here. Now we have to talk about how we use it. And what I realized was that the tool has way more ability than is required for most clients, but the need of the client changes with every client. So at any given time, I'll bet you we're never using more than 25% of what active demand can deliver, but that 25%, that basket at one client's a radically different basket of using the active demand tools at a different client. So you got to know them all. But what we found was that active demand fit a philosophical proposition that aligns itself, here's the money shot, perfectly to the accountability needed by industrial marketing. We have open rates. Our worst performing nurture open rate on a nurture email is about 35%. And our best ones, the first and second out of the 3 that go, are in the 50th and high 40th percentiles. That's like orders of magnitude outside the industry. And yet I can prove it because it's documented through active demand. Every time we learn how to document something and learn how it fits and slots into the process, we find another way to make more money with active demand. Because active demand as a cash item is not expensive. But like everything else, if you don't do your homework, you don't get your value. So active demand plus investing in training plus fractional amounts of creativity have gotten us these results. We're not special people. We're just really focused and we love passionately what we do. And so you want to work with people who passionately love what they do. If you're not prepared to invest in the truth, you need to understand that what you're making a decision to do is invest in failure. It's just blunt, right? If you think active demand is expensive, try failure. There's a good line. Most people just simply can't even take in the kind of ROI that well-managed digital ROI generates. They can't compute it. Like they don't have a place in their brain for how much percentages are going on. You know, okay, it costs a lot to set up your system, but you know, what you put into sending out an email through the system, labor and creative and everything combined. Maybe you spent $250 to put a really good quality email out in front of 10,000 people. That's going to result in 2,500 to 3,500 look-ats. It's going to result in probably a 2 to 3% form conversion rate. And we know that every one of our sellers converts their cash close rates around 25%. So now I have an empirical channel of that company's profitability, revenue generation and profitability, literally in real time before month end. Like we don't even tell people we report anymore. We tell them that there is no report because everything is real. It's instant. Here's your login to your dashboard. At the end of the day, a dashboard is about returning to a person their results in the currency of their input. It's a little complicated, but look, you need to see, like for instance, if you don't speak Portuguese, what value is all your reporting in Portuguese, right? It's just stuff, but it isn't real because you can't read it, you can't work with it, you can't interpret it. And that's the beauty of the active demand dashboards. That instead of giving somebody, 50 pages of text every month, I only give them 2 or 3 pictures, but the pictures are critical. What did you spend this year? What did you spend last year? And are you getting more bang for your buck this year because you're supposed to be learning as you go forward? And we do that every day. If you wanted to define active demand a different way, here's another way to look at it. Accountability defines performance. An active demand is the accountability tool of marketing. We're generating probably $50 to $60 million a month in opportunities for our clients, and every single one of those leads is documented, tracked, traced, and accountable through active demand. Active demand becomes a truth tool. With lead nurturing, would like to do relationship nurturing between the seller and the client, talking about things exactly not the quote. The quote will look after itself, but how do you nurture the relationship? So we have a nurture path for relationship and a nurture path for any given sale. The relationship is worth way more than the sale. On the surface, it doesn't look that way, but when you start understanding the mathematics of psychology and sales, how are you going to get to 5 to 12 points of contact without sales automation, without marketing automation? It's about aligning the tool to the need to the job.